walk you guys through a little bit of the user interface here. So that is just all the buttons on screen, as well as some of the things that we're going to walk through, and also on top of that, just how to orient things and work inside of this digital canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 fingers here, and I'm going to just pinch. So that'll let us zoom in and out of our canvas. And with my fingers still held down on the 2, if I swivel my fingers, you'll notice that we're able to rotate that canvas. So this gives us a lot of freedom to kind of be able, if your hand naturally flows in a certain direction, you can change that canvas to meet that comfort level for yourself. Okay, so that is how you can adjust sizing as well as rotation with the canvas that we're working on. So I'm going to split down the user interface to left side versus right side. So the first thing we're going to do is go through all of the brushes that are on the left side. That would be these guys over here, and the settings that kind of go along with them. So this top one at the very top, this is our pixel brushes, and we'll get into these a little bit later, but we do have a lot to choose from here. The 2 primaries that we're going to pick from are the effects and the basics. Feel free to explore these on your own if you'd like to. If you'd like to switch it up and try your own, you're more than welcome to as well. Or if you just wanted to play it safe and follow along, that's what we're going to do. All right. Second down to that one is called live brushes. Now this is something that's really interesting with Adobe Fresco. They actually created and mimicked real life liquid brushes, which is really cool. So we have watercolor and oil, and we're going to primarily work in watercolor. And so we have 3 to choose from. Actually 4 to choose from, I'm sorry. The third one down is watercolor wash flat. That's the one that we're going to start with. So if you'd like to go ahead and select that one right there, you're more than welcome to do that. And that is the one we're going to begin our painting with. All right. Right below that one, this is a vector brush. Again, we're not going to get too in depth with the vector brushes. If you work in Adobe Illustrator or other Adobe products are working with SVGs, if you have a Cricut machine, you can utilize this too to kind of create your own designs and then export them out as SVGs, which is really cool. Whoops. It's not near you, it's not near the screen. Interesting. Give me 1 second. It looks like my screen got kicked.
Yeah, I think you just need to reshare, looks like.
Right.
From the iPad.
Screen. Start.
So while Tyler's getting the iPad back up and running, I wanted to share that if you alter the pressure with which you are painting, you'll yield different results. So the more pressure you add, the more color that will be laid down as you go. So you can play around with that.
Excellent. All right, we're back in business now.
Cool.
So right below, so we have our vector brushes, which is here. We're not going to worry too much about them. Right below that one is our, I'm actually drawing, is our eraser. We have a move tool, selection tool, paint bucket tool, which is here, and then also our color drop tool. And again, we're not going to get too in depth with those, but primarily I'm going to show you guys how we can select a brush, paint something. I'm going to show you how we can undo things really quickly before we get into the right side of the user interface. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to select our live brush, which is our watercolor, wash flat. I'm just going to tap outside that window so it goes away. And I'm going to mention this to you guys as well. So down here we have our color selection. So if I just touch that little black dot there, you'll notice we get an entire color wheel. The inner dot is going to adjust saturation and brightness, while the outer dot is going to adjust the different hues that we have. So you can choose from purples, reds, blues, etc. We're going to primarily stick to the color scheme of yellow, orange, and red for our background painting, and then we'll start to work with black to kind of add in some more detail and silhouettes and stuff. All right, so just to work with how we can paint and undo things, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to select a nice yellow tone. And right below that, we have our settings for that specific brush that we're using. So we're selected on live brushes, watercolor, wash flat. And down here below, we can adjust the size of that brush. So if I wanted to bump this up, I can. And I'm going to set mine to about 123. And our flow is going to be at 100. And the third one down, which is our water flow, I'm also going to set that one to 100 as well. Okay?
Can you go over those settings again for me, Tyler?
Sure.
Thanks.
So our size is around 123, and that is for the brush size. And the second one down, our flow, which is going to be how saturated the color is whenever we start to paint, that will be 100. And then also our water flow, which is the third one down, will also be at 100. Excellent. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an example of, say you're working, so I'm going to paint something here really quickly and you don't like it and you want to undo it. There's a couple gestures that we can work with that'll help you do that relatively quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys too how differentiation and pressure can also affect the outcome of the product that you get when you paint. So I'm going to go really lightly, and you're going to notice that we don't get a lot of saturation in the color there. But if I push really hard, ooh, there we go, it starts to darken. Okay, so we can play with that whenever we're starting to work with our final painting and we're starting to paint our background here. And actually, before, say we don't like this, all you have to do is take, again, 2 fingers and just tap them on the screen, and that'll automatically do an undo. Do an undo. So you can just touch it again, oops. And there we are. And we're back at our blank canvas. So again, I just painted and then 2-finger touch, and that will undo the previous mark. Okay? And just because we're working with a larger canvas, I am actually going to go ahead and I'm going to bounce up that size to around 400, just working with it. I noticed it was a little small, so we'll get it nice and big for the brush size there. Okay, so that primarily takes care of the left side of our user interface. So all of these guys over here, boom, we got some paint. Now I'm going to jump over to the right side, and we're going to talk a little bit about layering. So we have our 3, and I'm just going to shrink down my canvas a little bit here. We have our 3 layers over here. So this white layer, that's the very bottom, that is our actual canvas layer. So if I just select that, you'll notice it highlights in blue. And I can use this little eyeball here on the right, and I can turn that layer on and off. So if I click it off, you'll notice that we have a checkerboard pattern now. So you can create PNGs, things with transparent backgrounds, etc. If you wanted to use them in presentations, you can do that too. And we're going to just select that layer again. We're going to touch that eyeball again, and then we have that layer turned back on. So above that, we have 2 other layers. So we have these 2. Now, basically, you can think of layers as kind of a like a shadow box. So you're going to have different depths to that. So the backmost or the bottommost layer is going to be your background, and then we can start to work with layers to start building out our foreground, other characters, etc., and kind of build out our full image without having any effect on any of the other layers that we're using. So if I wanted to add a new layer, all I have to do is press this little plus button. And so we would always push pixel layer, but typically if you just hit the plus button, it'll automatically add in a pixel layer, and then we're good to go. If you wanted to delete that layer or get rid of it, all you have to do is touch on the layer that was just added, and then you get a whole bunch of different options there, and we'll just hit delete. And I know that was pretty quick. So all I did was I hit the plus button on the right side there to add in a new layer, and then I just touched that layer that appeared and deleted it. So that's just how you can start to play, push and pull with different layers and actually building out your project through this. All right. Next to that, we'll dive in a little bit more. There is some features up here. If you wanted to make that window for your layers to disappear, up at the top right here, you can click that. It'll hide your layers or open your layers. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about blending modes and opacity. That's going to come in a little bit later whenever we start to work with dropping in photos. And we'll show you guys how you can drop in a silhouette or another photo that you're working with. If you wanted to start to edit that photo, you can do that in here as well. Okay. So I know that was kind of a brain dump and we got a lot of things going on screen. But if nobody has any questions, or if anything you want repeated, feel free to reach out to one of our team members. They're more than happy to help you guys out. But if everybody is good to go, we're just going to start painting, and we're going to get rolling. All right. Cool.
All right. I think we're good.
Excellent. Okay. So I actually just noticed that I have a little black mark right here, and that may be, oops. There we go. I think I put in a vector on accident. All right.
They're always getting in the way.
I know, right?
So annoying.
Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and touch our live brushes. So that's the watercolor, and we're gonna go with the third one down with it, which is our watercolor wash flat. And you guys pretty much set up your settings prior to whenever we were walking through the interface, but I'll just go through them one more time so everybody knows we're all on the same page. So I have our color set to a yellow, and I was able to move that just to the yellower side of our hue, and then I just bumped that all the way up in the top right corner so we have a nice bright yellow. Second one down from that one is our brush size. I bumped mine to around 386, around 400. Feel free if you want to, you could max it out. That's 512 is your top. Primarily, we're just gonna fill in this canvas and start to paint with that. So if you'd like the larger brush, you're more than welcome to use it. Our flow is at 100, and that is right below our size. And then the third one down, which is the little water drops, is our water flow, and that is also at 100. All right. So if everybody is good with that, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna start to paint here. So I'm just going to go in our top portion of our canvas, and I'm just going to start to fill this in. And what you'll notice is that the brushes are starting to mimic water since we're working with a watercolor brush. And you'll see that color start to flow whenever we fill it in. All right?
It's so amazing how similar it is to watercolor, painting with watercolors. It's amazing. It's so cool.
It is one of the coolest features that I've never seen in any other digital illustration tool. Fresco is really good with kind of the mimicking mediums. It's really, really nice. And you'll see that kind of really play well whenever we start to blend our colors together, which is going to be really cool. All right, so if everybody is good and has their yellow section built out, we're going to basically start to just go through the same system. So we're going to go here to our color. I just right there on our color, and I'm going to drag that color outside hue down to orange. All right. Again, I'll just click out, and our settings for this brush are exactly the same. We don't need to touch anything in there. So we have 512 for the size. Our flow is 100, and our water flow is 100 too. So you guys don't need to worry about adjusting those.
Do you want like a bright orange?
So it's completely up to you. Mine is relatively bright.
Okay.
Like a pumpkin orange.
Okay.
I need to start naming my colors. It'll be perfect. So we're going to take that orange and we're just going to basically fill in this secondary layer. And you're going to see that water start to really play in here. So you'll see that flow starting to happen. All right. And again, I'm varying my pressure here. So I'm going a little harder on the pressure midway, and then I'm going to go a little bit lighter. Now, if you don't have an Apple Pencil and you're just using your finger, you may notice that the pressure is going to automatically be super saturated. And that's okay. I'll show you guys how we can start to blend those colors later down the line with fresh water. So once we have our orange here and we're kind of filling it in, last but not least, we're going to leave all of our settings the same, but we're going to change that color again to red. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the bottom here with our red. Again, I'm just going relatively deeper on the pressure, and I'm going to draw this up to meet that orange. Okay. And there we go. So we're starting to get a little bit of a sunset here, which is a lot of fun. Now to show you guys how you can start to blend these colors a little bit more if you'd like to, there should be a little dot on your screen that is light gray. So if you touch that dot and just hold your finger on it, you're going to see that outer circle kind of grow and expand. Just keep your finger on that and then start to paint with your other finger. You'll notice that it's starting to work with pure water. So we don't have any pigment, any digital color that's coming through there. It's all just going to flush those colors together and help blend out our scene. Okay, and if you're working with your finger, you can do that same thing, and that should help you with really pulling those colors together and making it nice and gradient style. All right.
Somehow you've managed to make yours look like a masterpiece after after like 2 minutes. Good job, Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if we want to give people some time, or if everybody's good, we can start to roll into the next section. But if not, and people are kind of still playing with color, etc., then we'll just give a little bit and people can play and kind of get those colors together. Otherwise, we can keep rolling.
I see Leah commented her dog's name is Pumpkin, so you know that color name.
Yes. All right. Ready to keep going from Jesse. Perfect. Does everybody else feel confident in moving forward?
Yeah, I'm seeing some yeses.
Cool. Excellent, excellent. All right. So now we're going to add a secondary layer. So this is going to go into the right side of our user interface like we did beforehand. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit that little plus sign that we did before. So I'm going to hit that plus sign and it's going to add a layer right above our background layer, which is our sunset. So what this...
If my layers have disappeared, can you remind me, how do I get them back again?
Sure, so if your layer has disappeared and you can't see it, but you still see it over here on this left side, there's a little eyeball that's right to the right. Most likely you just touch that eyeball and it'll make your layer appear and disappear. So that's just the visibility of it.
Okay.
Good point. Excellent. All right. So if you have that third layer, you want to make sure that you're selected on it. So that is the topmost layer. Just make sure that it's highlighted in blue. Once we get that highlighted in blue, we're going to go ahead and change that color to black. And once we have that black selected.
Is there a way, there's a question in the chat, is there a way to get your color back, an earlier color that you used?
Sure, so most likely all of your colors are saved underneath your color wheel. You'll see them underneath all and recent colors, which is that third drop-down arrow. It should save the colors that you've been using for the whole beginning. So if you wanted more yellow, you should be able to find it right in there.
And you just tap on it?
Yep, so all you have to do is tap on it. If I wanted that yellow that I was working with at the beginning, I just tap on the yellow, and then I can go back in and start to fill in more yellow. All right, excellent. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna change my color to black. And we're going to start to work with our pixel brushes now. So that is the topmost brush up here in the top left corner. We have our pixel brushes. And now from all of these different libraries that are inside of our pixel brushes, I'm going to go ahead and select FX. So that would be this one right here. And if I just click inside of that one, you're going to see all these different brushes kind of pop in. And now I'm going to scroll down slightly. Actually, it was towards the top here. And I'm going to utilize Foliage 1, which is this guy right here, right underneath Dusty. So I will click on Foliage 1. I'll give everybody a second to find that. So it's just Foliage 1 inside Effects. And then it is the fourth one down, which just foliage. Okay. And now just to kind of walk us through our settings again, just like we did for the watercolor brush, they're going to be a little bit different here. And again, this is kind of where you can play. If you'd like to adjust any of these settings, you're more than welcome to. So I have mine set at size is 334. Anywhere between 300 and 400 is probably fine. The second one down is our flow. That one's going to be at 100 so that we have a really nice dark black. And then the last one is smoothing. You guys don't need to worry about the smoothing at all. You can let that exactly where it is. Basically, that's just to make the line a little more smooth when you're painting with it. Okay. So once we have those settings and that foliage brush selected, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start to paint in the bottom here. And it's going to add in some grass. And what's really cool with this is that these brushes can really make things look nice really, really quickly. All right.
Oh my God.
That is the reaction I was looking for.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, I'm a good artist now.
Fun now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh my. I am so happy.
Go ahead and fill in that bottom section there. And feel free, sometimes I like to give a little curve, a little more dynamic stuff here, but again, I need to start quoting Bob Ross. This is your happy little grass, your happy little scene. You can do whatever you'd like.
That's a great Bob Ross impression.
Thank you. I forgot my beard.
Oh, well, it looks like you're starting one.
No.
So if we keep doing this every week, by the time, you know, we're in the middle of the summer, you should have a full-fledged Bob Ross.
Full-fledged beard, and I'll just get a perm, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. They have home perms. You can do it at home.
Here we go. All right, so you should have your grass layer down here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start to add in more things into our foreground so we can really start to tell a story through this painting, okay? So I personally like to separate my layers out. If you guys would like to paint on this foreground, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to go ahead and add in another layer, just like we added in that grass layer before. And this is just going to give us a little more control in the long run if we wanted to. All right, next I'm going to go back up into our pixel brushes. You're going to probably be in the effects brushes, so I'm going to hit this little back arrow right next to the title effects. And we are going to go up to basic, which is the top one. Sorry, I can show everybody. It's this one right here at the top. We're going to go to basic. And I'm going to go ahead down to the third one, which is hard round size flow. Okay, so that would be this guy right here. And again, I'm not going to change any of our color settings or anything like that. What I will do is I will adjust the size from 16. We're working with a relatively large canvas that is an HD canvas, a 1920 by 1080. We're just going to go ahead and bounce this up to probably 90, 91. That'll give us nice to work with. And then last but not least, our flow is going to be at 100. And that streamline should be, or smoothing, I'm sorry, should be up at 1. But again, you guys don't need to worry about that. Typically, it's already preset inside of that brush. Okay, cool. So, looks like we have a question from Jenny.
The brush we're using.
The brush we're using is underneath basic and then hard round size flow. Okay. Excellent.
We're still using black.
And we are still using black.
Okay.
All right. So I am going to start to paint a happy little tree over on the right side of our canvas. So I'm just going to start at the bottom where our grass is. And, oh, it actually looks like that brush may be a bit too small still. So we may need to adjust this. So I'm going to go ahead and undo that. I'm going to see what this looks like if I max it out. Yeah, that's a little better. Probably not 2000, but we'll go 500. If you guys wanted to do exact numbers with your brushes, all you have to do is if you hold down on it, you can actually type in a number specifically. So just to show you that again, I'm just pressing and holding down on that size for our brush, and that'll let me type it in directly if I had a specific number in mind. So we'll just go 500. It's perfect. 502 if you were already there. And then we'll be all set. All right. Cool. So once we have that adjustment, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start to paint our tree here. Need some.
I want a tree stamp like we had with the grass. Just saying.
Yeah, there should be a trunk. Like, bam, trunk's done.
All right.
Oh, man. Whew.
Sorry, I'm deep in thought. Start like whistling and singing to myself. Serenade everybody while we're
Tell that yours is a tree, Tyler, but I don't think that anyone would be able to tell mine is a tree. Mine's like a stick person without a head.
trees, cactuses, whatever you got. All right.
Undo, 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 undo. Undo. Let's try that one more time.
So feel free to here, if you guys would like to. I am going to just go ahead and bring my size down. And that is just so that I can go in, and probably not that small. Boy, this brush is just very specific with its sizing. Let's go to probably 3, not 4. Just try and type in the number here. So we will go 350, not 650, 350. Perfect. All right, so we can start to add in those smaller branches. And again, this is just me kind of falling off the deep end with my detail. You guys don't need to do this, but if you'd like to, by all means. All right, so you should start to get something like this. Which is a tree, cactus, whatever you decided to draw. And now we are going to jump back into our effects brushes, and we're going to start to flush out this tree a little bit more, add a little bit more detail into it. Okay?
Okay.
So if everybody's all set, we're going to jump back into our pixel brushes. We're going to go on the back arrow, and we're going to jump back down to effects. And this time, instead of foliage 1, we're actually going to select foliage 2. Okay. So just go ahead and select foliage 2. And again, black as our color. It's perfectly fine. Our size around 194 is perfect. It does give you a preview there, as you guys can see, about what sizing that is. And then again, our streamline is going to be, our smoothing, I keep saying streamline. Our smoothing is going to be 1. Again, you guys don't need to worry about that too much. You should be all set. Okay? So basically what we're going to do with this brush, and you guys will be able to play, I'm sure you already have, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to start to fill in our tree. And so I am working kind of in a circular motion. I'm leaving some space in between so we can see that sunset cut through. And there we go. And if you signed up for a free account or just signed in through to get to into Fresco, you may not have access to these brushes specifically, but if you are associated with Penn State, you do have free access to the Adobe Creative Cloud. All you guys have to do, you can go on to adobe.psu.edu, follow the instructions there and you'll be able to sign up for free, which is really nice. All right.
So pretty.
Cool. So we have our tree. So the start of our scene here. Now we can start to add in a little bit more details, characters, etc. So this is where your storytelling can kind of come in and play with this. So we have our kind of basic scene set. Something that I am going to kind of walk through and illustrate with you guys is we're going to just make some small silhouetted people right in the middle of our frame. And then we'll start to play with different things, and I'll show you how we can import a photo if you guys wanted to Google search on your iPad, and Nicole will kind of walk through that too.
Here's a sneak preview of
Here we go.
mine so far. It's
Excellent.
looking good. I'm proud
So
of
good.
myself.
I'm inspired. I like the little bushes that you made. They're so,
Oh, thanks.
so nice.
They're happy little bushes.
Happy little bushes. I'm totally stealing your idea. Guilty. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. All right. So if everybody kind of has their tree, their happy little bush over there in the corner, we're going to go ahead and move forward. And we're going to start to illustrate out some basic characters. And again, we're going to keep this relatively simple. I know that people, not everybody has an Apple Pencil, and some people are working with just their fingers. So we're going to go ahead and make this relatively easy to follow along with. So I'm going to go back up into our pixel brushes, just like we were doing before. I'm going to go back out of effects. And I'm going to go back into basics. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use the hard round brush, which is that topmost brush. So we'll click on that one, and that one will be all set. And just to test out size, and again, this is just me seeing how small or how large the brush is 14, which is perfectly fine. So our brush size is 14. And then our flow is at 100. And again, that smoothing is at 1. We don't need to worry about that at all. Okay? So this is what's really nice whenever we can start to use the pinch and scale feature that I showed you guys right at the very beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and wherever I want to put my people, I am actually, before I even do that, something that I forgot, I'm going to go ahead and add in another new layer. We're just going to keep separating these out. All right. So we have a new layer there, and now I am going to just use 2 fingers. And I'm going to scale in here so that we can get nice and close and into the detail. Okay. And again, this is going to be super helpful for the people that are using the using just your finger.
The resolution on the foliage is pretty amazing. When you zoom in, it still looks good.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think I saw Jesse ask something about the brushes. So yes, it's just the hard round brush. And I didn't adjust the scale at all. It was just 14. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to basically just make 2 circles. So I'm going to go ahead and make 1. Yeah, circle. And we'll make another circle slightly catty corner to that one. Okay. Now, once we have our circles here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a little box under that circle, a little rectangle. I'm just going to fill that in. And we're going to do the same with the one next to it. All right. And now, oops, my color window likes to jump out in front of me. Now we're just going to draw straight lines down from that box. We're going to leave a little bit space. And you can kind of start to see the beginning of our people. Again, I'm just adjusting the leg length here, and we're going to do the same on this side too. And adjusting that torso length. And people don't have floating heads, so we're just going to go ahead and add in a neck. Again, this is relatively simple. We're not going to get too into the nitty-gritty details here, but I would like them to be holding hands.
Aww, that's so sweet.
It's a love story.
I was wondering if you were gonna give them arms. I wasn't sure. It's a
We
love
are.
story. Romantic.
Now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to add in the other arm to the other side here.
Yeah. My people. They need some work. I think Nate's people need some work as well. Nate, that's what the undo button's for.
All right. I am so excited to see everybody else's. Great. Mine have small arms. It's all right. You can extend them out, make them a little longer. Cool. So again, this is totally up to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, that's probably good. Get out of here, color wheel.
The color wheel wants you to choose something besides black, I think.
Wow.
There, I put a skirt on mine.
Excellent. So I always, this shape of people I always refer to as the bathroom people.
I nailed it then. Yeah, I mean, if I zoom out, they sort of, yeah.
Totally. So you should have something like this, if you guys have been following along. And feel free to make any changes. If you wanted to go in and actually erase, instead of just using the undo, the fourth one down on the left side, this guy right here, is your erase tool. And so you can actually select whatever brush you want for the erase tool. So I'm just going to select brush tilt, which is the most top one. And if I wanted to come in here and start to clean up these lines, I can do that. And that is really large. You'll actually see it starting to wipe out their arm. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring that scale down, probably 10. And again, I just changed that over on the left side once I was selected on my eraser. Then I can go in here, maybe, is it erasing? It's not erasing, no. Try to scale up a little bit. Still not erasing, weird. Let's try a different brush. There it goes. Okay. For some reason, it did not like the brush tilt, so we're just going to use hard round variable. Again, there's my color wheel, making sure that my color is black. Again, making sure it's color black. But you guys can go ahead and start to erase and clean up those lines if you'd like to. I just wanted to mention that there is an erase tool that is separate from the undo tool again. All right, excellent. So, and I'm getting a little catty corner here. There we go. Should have something like this. And with that, you have created your first digital painting.
Yay!
Good job, everyone.
I have my layers. Ta-da!
Woo! Excellent. So really quickly, to show you guys one more final thing, I'm going to show you how we can import a photo. And then I'm going to show you how we can drop the background out of that photo so we have a really nice clean silhouette that we can play with. Okay, so we only have a little bit more time, so I want to keep an eye on that time. I don't want to hold anybody up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make our people invisible. And by doing that, I'm just going to select that layer and I'm going to touch that little eyeball that we mentioned earlier, so the visibility layer. So our little people should just disappear. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, and this is where I personally went out and found some other images. Nicole, I don't know if you wanted to have people go and get their own, or if we wanted to just follow along at this point.
Yeah, if everyone wants to just take a minute and open up your browser on your iPad and Google a silhouette. So it could be Pokemon silhouette. It could be a tiger silhouette. Whatever your favorite, whatever pops in your head first, just Google that and silhouette, and then just put your finger on the image and it'll ask you if you want to save it to your photos, and you can save it to your photos. So we can wait a minute or so for everyone, give everyone a chance to go ahead and do that.
Yep. And if it's helpful, I mean, I'm more than happy to also do that.
Throw out some other suggestions, Tyler. What else can we
Oh, man. You could do buildings, you could do nature, you could do anything and everything.
silhouette? You could do Old Man.
Old Main, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Tyler, did you do your desktop?
I did not. I did not, although I feel like I should try next time, Wade.
Yeah.
I have some of my other digital work here, but we're not gonna fall down that rabbit hole. That's a deep, deep rabbit hole.
A rabbit hole for a different day.
Exactly. That's another day.
That's for beers later.
Right? Oh, that is definitely for beers later. All right. So if everybody went ahead, I actually had some silhouettes saved, but if everybody feels comfortable and has a silhouette that they're working with, or has it saved to their iPad, I'm going to show you guys how we can import that photo and then adjust the background so you have a really nice clean silhouette. Okay. So if you have the silhouette saved to your iPad, you're going to go ahead and touch the, right above the color wheel is this little image icon. So I'm going to go ahead and touch that. And I'm going to click on Photos. And this is where you guys can find your pictures here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select our trombone player here because I think he's pretty cool. Out in nature, playing that trombone.
I'm sorry, I got lost. I'm sorry. Start again just from this part. I have a picture, but now where do I go to get it?
So right underneath or right above our color wheel.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Little photo icon.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Photo icon, and you're going to touch Photos. That's going to open up your photo library on your iPad. And we're going to go to All Photos. You'll find that silhouette that you found. We'll just select it, and that'll automatically drop it into a new layer inside of our project. Okay? And you can pinch and scale this. And we're just going to go ahead and scale it, and I'm going to bring it down to right about where we would have him placed. Okay? And once we're all done and have him placed where we want him to be, I'm just going to, over in the top right corner, we're going to have, we're going to push this little done button. All right? That'll bring back all of our previous features and buttons. And you should have something like this. Okay? Next thing we're going to do is right underneath our layers window is this little slider icon. We're going to touch on that. You're going to see layer properties, blend mode, and opacity. And I'm going to go into blend mode. And I'm just going to hit multiply. And so once we hit multiply, it's going to drop out that background layer of the white, and it's going to keep all of our dark features inside of it. So you get these really nice, crisp outlines directly right in just like that. Yes, it is just like magic, Jenny. And there we go. That's how you guys can start to play with photos, and you can adjust the blend modes. There are all kinds of different things. So if you had a silhouette with a white background, it's going to drop out that white background. If you have something with a background, you probably got a little bit of blurring. It takes the most dark side when you use multiply, and it just overlays it on top of your color. All right. So you'll have something like this, and then that was the final piece of our puzzle to show you guys how you can work with digital assets and digital paintings and start to make your own work. And I hope you guys will share this with us. I'm going to turn it back over to Nicole, but before we do that, I am going to just drop in one more photo, and that would be this. We would love to have you guys share your work with us on social media and use this hashtag. And I will turn it back over. Oh, yes, Ryan, thank you. That is a very important feature. So I'm going to show you guys how we can export out really quick. That completely slipped my mind and is also very important. So before we go too far, all you have to do in this top right corner to export is hit this little arrow here. And I'm sorry that keeps popping up. It's just because it's asking me if I want to draw on that layer and I don't want to. Up here in the top right corner, we're going to see this little box with an arrow. You're just going to touch that and we're going to use actually we're going to publish and export out. And you should get dragged to this window and we're going to export out as, we're going to change this to a JPEG. And then you can just hit export. This will let you share it out via email. You can airdrop it to yourself. You can save it to your images. You can upload directly to Facebook, etc. If you use Instagram, you can use Instagram as well, but that is how you guys will export. Just to go over that one more time, up in the top right corner, this little box with an arrow, publish and export, and then on the left side, export as. And then we're going to go to our JPEG and export. Okay? And then you're all set. And just to add that one photo back in, just so we know where to share to. Look at that.
I have mine set as my background. I call it Gorilla Gorilla.
Yes. Gorilla Gorilla.
Gorilla Gorilla.
Can you combine two layers? Like, can you flatten two, like, I don't know if that's the right word. Can
Yes.
you combine two layers? Because I did my leaves on a different layer than my tree.
Yep.
Because I was afraid I was going to make a mistake.
Oh, of course. So if you'd like to combine two layers, so working with layers is a little bit tricky. So you can, if we touch, we can actually drag and reorder these layers too. And this is an excellent question for kind of understanding digital art in general. So I'm really happy that you brought this up. So I have my tree here, and all I have to do is just tap on that tree. It's going to give us all of our layer actions, just like we would to delete it. And if you look down at the very bottom, it says merge down. If you just tap that, it's going to take the layer that was right below it, and it's going to just merge the two right down into one single layer. So now I have my tree and my grass all on one.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question.
Of course.
So when I did my little silhouette, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this or not, but I'm gonna show you. When I did the little like multiply thing, it made like a shadow. Can you see that? Around like where the white part was on the photo.
That happened with mine, and I did the darker color. That got rid of it instead of the multiply.
Instead of the multiply?
Yeah.
Darken.
Sure, so if you, instead of multiply,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that worked.
Darken.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Does
Oh,
anyone,
no, it's good.
would anyone else like to share theirs? You'll have to speak so that you come into the screen. You'll have Erica show us what you made.
It's so
Alright.
pretty. I love it.
Oh, that's adorable.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I'll stop sharing my screen so that we can actually see the grid. Was there any other questions inside the software before I kind of jump out of here?
When can we do this again?
Well,
Yeah, this was so fun.
tune in next week, the same day and same time. We are going to be teaching you how to create epic Zoom video backgrounds.
Hey,
And
Tyler.
we
Yep.
would love to teach Fresco again. Tyler has so many different ideas for painting that I feel like we should definitely repeat it.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
When you-
Dance.
When you rotate,
He has a whole band.
It's a hobo band.
when you rotate your canvas,
Yep.
does it snap back level if you?
It should snap back level.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't. I'm pretty sure it does. There may be a magnetic feature inside of Fresco, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty intuitive and it should just kind of right back to where it was. Yes. Is the
Puppy
dog?
dog. Woof.
Of course it's a dog. That's the way to go.
Exactly.
Oh,
Oh, elephants.
They're so
Elephants.
cute. the mama and her
This is
baby.
beautiful. I really hope you guys share this on social media. We'd love to have a full collection. This would be absolutely brilliant.
So I tried to do that just now, and then I changed my Instagram photo by accident.
Oh.
Tell us again, you just want the hashtag PSU creates, or did you want us to do other things?
Hashtag PSU creates.
Got it.
Yes.
Oh, victory.
Fantastic. I'm getting like really close to my screen in case people.
I know. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm on camera.
Yeah, for any Dark Souls fans, praise the sun. You know, kind of
Yes.
Oh, horse.
I knew there had to be some other Dark Souls fan out there.
Very nice. Very nice horse.
Super Mario. Excellent. Very nice. Well, we are 5 minutes over time. So I hope everybody had fun. I'll turn it over back to Nicole for kind of closing remarks. But thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. And I'm sure that we will be doing another one of these in the future. And I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And stay safe. Stay safe.
See Jesse's question?
I did not.
She wants to know, how do you download a picture from Google on an iPad? I believe you would, if you're in Google Drive, you would select the item, and then there will be 3 little dots, and you select that, and it will allow you to download. But I can work with you on that, Jesse.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Tyler. This was so much fun.
Thank you,
Had a
Tyler.
blast. I feel like I learned a lot today, and I feel like now I'm a little bit more creative than I was when I woke up this morning. So I have some more artistic skills that you've helped me develop. So thank you. And everybody tune in next week, same day, same time. We'll have information up on our website, mediacommons.psu.edu/Penn State Creates. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, everybody have a good afternoon, rest of your afternoon, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you.
Hey, Tyler.
Yes.
Just so you're aware, I downloaded Fresco yesterday and tried like to do stuff, and I'm like, this is overwhelming. I can't do anything. And now I have this beautiful picture on my iPad, and I'm so excited. So that's all.
You're an artist.
Happy, Erica.
It was so fun.
Good.
Okay. Thanks, Erica.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You did it.
Hey, Tyler, are you on Twitter?
I am, but I very rarely am.
I was going to tag you in my post. Do you mind if I tag you?
Tag away, friend.
What is your Twitter handle?
It's bad that I have no idea. Twitter. It is TJ